In this video, I unbox the Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid Phase 1 Kickstarter Exclusives. This is the big exclusive box. It contains the 3 sets of exclusives for Phase 1 that they talk about, the in general base exclusives, and then the 2 exclusive expansion sets, White Light expansion and Green Evil expansion. And that, of course, is the Tommy Oliver White Ranger and Green Ranger. Of course, within Phase 2, they do have the Tommy Oliver set. Within that set, you can get a Green and White Ranger. The sculpts of the figures are different, but I believe the cards are the same. But I'm not 100%. So if you are looking for this box just to get that green and white, know that you should be able to pick them up within Phase 2, the Tommy Oliver set. You will also be able to get, I believe, a black, red, and blue Tommy Oliver character. So that is kind of cool. I've deliberately done these unboxings separate because they have done Power Rangers as a retail version, where the first Power Rangers retail unboxing I did was just that. You can pick that up your local gaming store, or again, while during the filming of this, Phase 2 is running, you can go on there and pick it up as well. But just in case you were only able to get the base game, I wanted to make sure I kept those separately. Remember, you can get, if you have gotten the base game, you can come back to Phase 2 and just pick this up as an add-on. So that is pretty cool. This thing is absolutely huge. It is bigger than the box for the base game, because it contains, I believe, one more set of plastic, one more tier. You can see one of the problems with that a lot of people talk about with this game is that within the box, the printing has come loose, either from humidity from the print location or during shipping. I don't know. But you can see here, it is kind of a letdown that something this big you're spending that much money on does have a problem. But if I am going to have a problem with a game, I would much prefer it to be within the box for the game and not my actual gaming components. So again, while it is kind of a letdown, it could be a whole lot worse. Go ahead and take a look at the back, and it does have some of that UV etching, UV coating on here. You can definitely feel the difference there as you move around. This right here is a highly recommend from my point of view, because it comes with so many extra bosses and a couple extra tiles. It really adds a bunch of replayability to your game. Let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what we have going for our Kickstarter exclusive box. And wow, we saw in that first unboxing that the punches punch easy. Yeah, this one was already pre-punched for me. That's crazy, the ease of punch for these. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. What's really nice within this set is that they do add 4, I believe. Yep, 4 more locations. So what I assume this would allow you to now do is maybe shuffle up your locations and then draw the first 4 to be in a random order. Again, that adds a ton of replayability to your game. So each time you play, your map will be different, your locations will be different. Look at that, oh my lord. Gotta love a super punch. And replayability in these kind of big box board games is always nice. Just touching these, they punch. Because it looks like, I mean, you can see there's just barely any tags here. Just barely anything holding these guys on. And then this one. Uh-oh, that's a little, let's see, let's take a closer look here. Yeah, look at that, okay. Well, that's a little disappointing. Within this one, there was a slight problem where they didn't punch that one all the way through. I can probably fix that with a little black paint. So again, a little annoying, but nothing too critical. The other thing that I like about these is that they do have lids for their box, where the top plastic guard has its own lid, and then it acts like the lid for the next, so forth and so on. That is great for when you're a painter, to keep your guys from moving around and help keep that paint kind of pristine. I like to see that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first set of minions, and I will put the ones you really want to see in focus. The first ones we have to look at are the same putties, I believe, from the base game. It's just giving you some more. Additionally, they did make, I believe, an enemies pack or a putties pack, which I got and I'll unbox later, but it probably gives me even more of these. I can't imagine why you would need that many of these, but I went all in, got it all. Looks like we get another 6 of those, and then another 6 of the little guys. Go ahead and take a look at them. They are very nice, a lot of great detail. So you definitely could do, go minimalist on here, give a nice, good base to most of these guys, then a wash, and then maybe just a few highlights, and you are good to go. Then let's go ahead and next take a look at our White Ranger. Again, I really like how they have gone with a plastic color scheme where the villains are in that gray plastic. And I don't mind that their bosses are all gray, being that they are so different. It's pretty easy to tell them apart, where the Rangers are a little more different, a little more difficult. They look fairly similar, but being that they are in this white, red, blue, so forth and so on color, it's very easy to pull them out and see them on the board. Additionally, if you remember from Power Rangers, their Green Ranger originally came as a villain, which is why he has this gray plastic form. So this would be the villain sculpt of our Green Ranger. So with him, that would mean we have 2 potentially different sculpts for him. You can tell it's the green because he has that flute sword thing that he has. Very cool. Love it. And then within here, we have a couple more villains, a couple more bosses. And again, the more bosses in a game like this, the better, because the game always has a couple bosses that you have to beat the game. So the more you have, the more replayability you have. Very nice. And then we have one of my favorites. He just looks stellar. Lots of great detail on him. He will take paint wonderfully. Additionally, you could probably paint him up as the show shows. Oh, his base is a little more sturdy than some of the other ones. Or you could have fun with this guy and really go crazy with his paint scheme. I could see that being a lot of fun. There is a little bit of cleanup, or is that the Z? I don't know. A little bit of cleanup on him, but for the most part, he is looking pretty good. And then, of course, we have the alternate sculpt of her. So you can pick between the 2 that you want. So that's very nice. Again, that will allow you to paint one as to show and one maybe in your style. Very nice. Next, we're going to pull out the next row of baddies, and this one is a little disappointing. You can already see what happens here. With this one, they do not have them individually packaged, so they move around. These, therefore, will probably be the last thing I ever paint within this, because when you paint them up, they're going to move around. You're gonna knock that paint around, and you're going to have ruined all that work. That's kind of disappointing. But in a way, it makes a little bit of sense why they had to do that here. I mean, just look how many there are. There's probably, what, 20 in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, like 18 or so in there. That's just crazy. This thing would have to be like 5 levels deep, 6 levels deep. if they were all on their own, and that would be an insanely large box. So I guess it makes sense, but I wish they would have done maybe one row like this and one row with them separately, so you could paint some and protect some and then have the rest just plastic. And then we have what looks like 2 rows of the bird guy. And again, I love his feathers on here. Just enough detail where it's going to take washes and paints and dry brush very well. And you'll be able to see a lot on him. Lots of great detail. Very nice. And then do a quick check. Yep. And then he, of course, is the same set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, it looks like we got 18 of each of the new one. And of course, this is that one villain we were looking at. Those are his putties. And it has a Z on it. So that's very cool. And then finally, our tier of final bosses and cards. So we'll make sure we keep the bosses in focus. Let's start with the Rangers, and then here is our green plastic Tommy Oliver playing his flute. And then the Pink Ranger. That is a very cool skull. I like this one a lot. And I like how she doesn't have her helmet on. Very cool. And then the red. This looks like it is a Tommy Oliver in red. So maybe within that Tommy Oliver pack, are you going to wind up with 3 duplicates? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That definitely looks like his flute sword. And then we have their little robot base sidekick guy. Very cool. There you go. Focus. There we go. Come on. And now let's start looking at these villains. We'll start with the creator of the bosses for her. So he is cool. Nice little guy. And then this one, I believe in phase 2, they've even created the Mega for him. So like on the show where, you know, they start off just fighting the boss and then they jumbo size. Well, you kind of do the same thing here. At least with that guy. So that's cool. A few spots where you can tell they put their arms in where they made the connections. But for the most part, he's very nicely done. And you expect a little bit of cleanup in every... Oh my lord. That one is wicked cool. Yeah, you definitely want to, if you've gotten this game, want to try to pick up this Kickstarter exclusive box. So many cool bosses here. And again, here we have that kind of warp that we saw in some of the base game. But again, the water, hot, cold water trick should fix that up nicely. And the last guy. And then we got some tokens. Go ahead and take a look at these. They look like just plastic versions of some of the cardboard tokens that we saw in the base. So that's nice. We can have a sturdier plastic version. There on the other side. Now let's get into the cards. Let's start with the character card, shall we? Move this up a little bit. So these will be our location and character cards. And let's see, let's take a look. Yeah. So it looks like we got a couple mega or some vehicle, yeah. And then there's Alpha 5, very cool. All right, let's take a look. Green. Jason's gone. Very cool. And then here, of course, you have all of the boss decks. And you're going to have all of those location decks. So again, once you've picked which ones you're doing, you then pull out the deck for that person. And that's how the AI runs. And they have different abilities and the putties that are in them. So you know where to put them on the map. Just flip through these guys real quick. Get to these ones. Again, and again, we're going to have more boss decks. Green Evil, so that's the, and then the putties for the locations. Let's go ahead and move you. And the one thing that is noticeable that everybody else is talking about, that they are sending out new versions, or you can print your own, is the shields for the white deck were left off. So online in the Kickstarter page or in the Facebook group, you can get what the shield should be on each one of these cards. But they are going to send out replacement for them. And I assume within the Tommy Oliver set, they will have also had that corrected for his cards. Very cool. Very cool. And then the location. So here you can see here we're using those bird villains on this. And there's some putties. So again, because as you're playing, this will be the deck for the location. And so if you draw that card, you know to place 3 putties or 1 putty in your tile. So that's how that works. And that's how the AI works for creating the villains for you to fight. Very cool. Great addition to the game. Like I said, this one little set adds so much as far as extra content to your game. In my eyes, it is definite a must get. Let's go ahead before we start pulling it out. Show this because there's some pretty cool printing. Again, it will help you if you are a painter get an idea of what they may look like. See, in this, there's a little bit of the bump right there. So very cool. But so that is the Kickstarter exclusive set for phase 1. I hope you enjoyed, and what was that? Oh, yeah, the lid for the other one. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you decide on whether or not you wanted to pick this up within the currently running phase 2. Again, I definitely highly recommend it. Just its added content is makes it definitely worth it. So there it is, the Kickstarter exclusive box set for Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, bye.